Well, we are live and in person on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Hope everybody's doing super well. I am trying to make this a habit to just kick back toward the end of the workday on Friday. Of course, it's not the end of my workday because, well, my workday never really appears to ever end. So, but do with that information what you will. So how's everybody doing? Has everybody got their weekend planned out, or are you a schmo like me who will inevitably end up working pretty much throughout the entire deal? Let me know what you're up to this weekend, and I would love to hear about it. And I'll tell you what I'm up to after I finish editing the stream a little bit. I'm always working on something, you know? Sorry if the volume just boosted suddenly. I'm trying to get the sound nice and banging for y'all. So, this week has been interesting. I'll be honest. I've spent the week roller coaster of a week. Lots of negotiating, lots of planning, and more planning. And did I spill my... Oh, and Henwolf just spilled my water on my foot. Thank you, Wolfie. Appreciate you. Gosh. Oh, wow. That was a lot of water that came out. How did it all come out of there? Did you break it? No? Okay. Well. Floor's wet now, kids. I'm sorry, Wolfie. I should have never put the bottle of water near where you wanted to be. That's my fault. But yeah. Interesting week. So I had made an agreement with a filmmaker, and we were going to do a project together, and he had to drop out, which unfortunately seems to happen a lot in the Dayton area. I'd always like to work with Dayton people, and it never seems to work out. So went out of state, found somebody new, ready to rock. Craig Cohen's in the chat. He said, "Good afternoon, Henrik." Good afternoon, or good job, Wolfie. She is doing her best work, and now she's asleep on top of a microphone cable. The studio's not huge, but it's not tiny, but Wolfie is huge. So she takes up all of the space necessary for her to be comfortable. You know, she does not live by the "if it fits, I sits" motto. She just lays on whatever it may be. Oh, wow, Joe. Thank you so much, Joe, for your $25 tip. His note said, "I will be doing what I do every weekend, writing. The work is like breadsticks at Olive Garden, never ending." Oh, but can you get unlimited soup? That's the real question. But thank you so much, Joe, for that donation to the stream. I really appreciate it. Wow, you know, I gotta say, I need to live stream more because we've actually been able to raise some decent money to help with my dog Chicano's cancer treatment, and I'm very, very thankful. So thank you again, Joe. Really do appreciate it. And of course, I mean, I want to sit and vibe with you all by just listening to lo-fi hip-hop beats. And why wouldn't I want to? So last night I streamed for a little bit, and wow, that is a real puddle of water that Henwolf spilled. And it's ice cold. Very refreshing. But no, I went and saw Scream 6 last night, had a good time with it. Not the smartest movie in the world, but it's part 6. I had a great time. I really enjoyed it. Anybody else see Scream 6 or see any horror movies or just movies in general in the theater? I'd love to talk about it. Man, that is a big puddle. You know, there's never a dull moment with dogs and cats. This weekend I'll be undoubtedly writing. I'm actually working on the 200th, can't believe I'm saying that, 200th episode of Weekly Spooky, which I intend to write on my own because I'm feeling inspired, and it's going to be a very special episode, but I don't want to spoil what it's about just yet, but it'll be something we haven't done yet on the show. So that's going to be really cool. So I need to write on that. I have a screenplay that needs notes. Then I'm doing a podcast with my good buddy Charles Campbell. I'm going to be co-hosting an episode of Horror 421 with him. And there's probably something else I'm forgetting. But that's what the calendar of my phone is for. So that my stupid soft pink human brain does not fail me when I need it the most. Joe said, quote, a very special episode. Enrique is going to tell us to just say no. This is a very special episode. Please watch this with your parents. I mean, Weekly Spooky would be more of a, I learned it from watching you type of situation, I think. But maybe I'm wrong. Managing the live stream is a lot more exciting when you're trying to avoid a big puddle of cold water Henwolf spills. I should probably get a towel, but I'm in the groove. I don't want to take out my headphones and go do something else. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it real good. If y'all ask real nicely, I might give you a little hint about what the 200th Weekly Spooky is going to be like. But, you know, you'd really have to shake me or hold me over the edge of a balcony like in Lethal Weapon. Joe said, just use your socks to mop it up. Well, bad news, hombre. I have no socks on. I'm barefoot right now, which is why it's so refreshing. Paul Springer said, hey, Enrique, had a few minutes before I had to get into work. Wanted to say hi. Hey, Paul, I hope you have a very, very excellent day, my friend. Thanks for stopping in and visiting with us in our happy little, merry little troop of misfits over here streaming. Thank you very much. Trying to decide if I have anything worth ranting about. I mean, I could definitely get myself worked into a fervor over the challenges in hiring filmmakers, but that's a whole can of worms. That's not even a can of worms. That's a whole can of bees. So, and everybody knows you don't want to open that can of bees. So, here's something I'm working on that a lot of you don't have any clue has been happening. Myself and my good buddy Carlos Gonzalez, we've been working on a new TV project, really, which is going to be a spin-off of Terrifying and True from Weekly Spooky. For those uninitiated, Weekly Spooky, my podcast with scary stories every Wednesday, has a little bonus show every week on Mondays called Terrifying and True, which is a true crime podcast. We cover mysteries and murders and folklore and all kinds of things that I really enjoy learning about. So my buddy Carlos and I are working night and day, mostly night, to bring this show into television. Carlos is helping me turn those episodes of the podcast into video podcasts. And then I am going to record new intros and outros, you know, in a fancy set with some fog and some cool lighting, and basically make my own Unsolved Mysteries show in a way. And then we're going to hopefully, God willing, sell it to Tubi like we've sold a few other TV shows. Speaking of Tubi, if you haven't gone to Tubi TV and given Found Footage the series a watch, what are you even doing? Come on. It's free to watch with just a few commercials because, as you know, everything that's old is new again. So, but yeah, so that's one thing that I've been working on kind of in the back burner, just kind of keeping that going. And it's been really cool to work on. And Carlos Gonzalez, he's a gentleman I met. He lives out in New Jersey, and I met him because he's worked with my good buddy Michael Rasso. He's a good kid, and I think we're going to have a lot of really awesome collaborations in the very near future after this. So, very, very fun. I'm definitely vibing with this song. Let's see. Joe said, Unsolved Mysteries with a really excellent mustache isn't something I knew I needed, but I guess I do now. Well, I mean, I think we all could use it, really, but yeah, I mean, it's nothing crazy, but it's kind of funny. When I came up with the concept to turn it into like a streaming television show that we could kind of license to, you know, places like Tubi or places like Pluto TV or wherever it may end up, I remember stopping going, oh my God, I'm like living a childhood dream. I'm going to host a syndicated true crime TV show, basically. I don't hate that. Karen Campione, I think I'm saying that right, said, hi, hello, Karen. Nice to see you there. Hope you're doing very well. Hope I did not destroy saying your name. As a man with a name that is often hard for people to pronounce, I want to show nothing but respect to you. Oh, it's Anthony and Karen from East Coast Kitty. Okay, Campione. Okay. Well, it's nice to see you guys. How are you both doing? Doing good. Miss you. Was scrolling and saw you. Thank you so much. I miss you guys too. It was so cool to see you guys come back to the conventions after, because I remember, I think it was in like what, 2007, 2006, 2007, 2008. You guys were at every convention And I was also at every convention, of course, like Mike and Amy. We were all just always there. So we kind of became this like little bit of a family where seeing each other always brought us a smile. And it was so cool to see you guys pop back up. Happy to see you guys are still around and doing well. It's always nice to be able to keep in touch with good friends. Joe said, I'm related to him in some way, so forgive the bias, but you might be interested in the unsolved 1986 murder and mutilation of David Hadaway. Happened on the OSU campus. Joe, would you do me a favor? Send that information to weeklyspooky@gmail.com, and I'll get one of my writers on doing an episode about it. Because that's a really intense one. And we've had some great episodes that came about because listeners sent in news stories that we looked into. So please send that to weeklyspooky@gmail.com. And yeah, I'm going to get somebody on that right away. I love doing Ohio stories for obvious reasons. Plus, it's, nothing beats reading a scary story about something scary that happened and knowing that it happened only a few hours from you. That definitely keeps the heart pumping. That's for sure. Yeah, when it comes to true crime, I do enjoy, a good, creepy true crime story. Even though I can be a bit of a tenderfoot about it, I can get scared pretty easily and I can be freaked out pretty easily. But that's why I love horror movies. People often think like, oh, you watch a lot of horror movies, you must be very used to it. No, horror movies scare the crap out of me. And that's why I like them. So when I sit down in the middle of the night and record a weekly spooky show or a terrifying and true show or something like that, I'm like checking behind the shower curtain when I go to the bathroom afterward. I get very spooked. So believe me. Joe said the scariest horror movies are largely home invasion films. I would agree with that. There's something about the fact that if someone really wants to get in to your home, they probably will. That is just terrifying. Karen says, like a little vendor family, when you be in New Jersey, Anthony is going to a convention in Atlantic City at the end of the month. I'm not exactly sure when I'll be in Jersey again, but it'll probably be in the next month or two. I have some business to do in North Jersey, and while I'm there, I'm going to try to visit a few people, but from there, it really depends on how cuckoo my schedule gets. Because right now, a lot of productions are happening all at once, and some of them need me to be physically there, and some of them don't, and I can't even keep them straight half the time. Sometimes I feel like Roger Corman. I heard this great story about how when Roger Corman was running his business, he said he had 10 feature films, or it was 11 feature films in production right at that second. And his girlfriend, who became his wife at the time, was like, how do you even can keep up with all of that? And he said, I have them all memorized. And he told her what each one was, but he couldn't remember one of them. And he said, well, that one I'm canceling. Oh, thank you, Karen. Karen said, cool, glad you're busy and hope you were doing great. I'm not too bad. Not too bad, all things considered. This year started out a little rocky. One of my dogs, Chicano, he has cancer, but it looks like we've got it in remission. He's been going through chemotherapy for the last couple of months, but it's just been very stressful and exhausting and expensive, of course. But other than that, things are not bad. I can't say I'm unhappy with the fact that I'm still making my living and I'm still making my movies. And aside from my dog spilling ice water on my foot right before the show started, she is doing well. She's just napping. Oh, I'm getting a call from, I'm sure it's a human. Hello? Hello? Thanks. I swear I get, do you guys get just an obscene amount of scam phone calls every day? Because I do. Pardon me for not being able to pronounce your name perfectly, my friend, but it says Ibtisam Sarul. I hope I'm saying that at least somewhat correct. He said, hi. I say, hello back, my friend. Thanks for joining us, hanging out with us for a minute. Joe said they heard the smooth lo-fi and chickened out. You're right. Lousy scam callers. I was hoping I'd get one on the phone live because I could chat with them and just stream it, because why not? In fact, I'm going to connect this to the Rodecaster just in case I get another scam call so that I can pipe it right through and we can all enjoy a little chat. For those who don't know, and this is probably the most evil thing I've ever learned, if you get a scam call and they are of Indian descent, which they're not always, but often happen to be from India, the term Mara Chod, like Mada and Chod, Mara Chod, is extremely offensive to them. It basically is like mother effer, but much more offensive, much crueler and harsher. So that's what I go with once it becomes clear they're trying to scam me. They'll say, like, go ahead and give me, what are the last four digits of your social? And I'll say, oh, they are, 76 Marachod. You are a Marachod. And they get super upset. It's very amusing. It's like having a cheat code to the scammers. So that's my gift to all of you, Marachod. Because Benchod, or Benchad, or however you say that, is like too friendly. Sometimes people will call each other that as a joke, but Marachod, no. Not okay. Not a friendly thing to say. What's up, Henwolf? You want to say hi to everybody? She's moving around a bit, making a little bit of a ruckus. She loves attention. Let's see. Video capture. Nick said, hitting up BNG's later. I will be at BNG's Cigar Lounge probably around 5:30 with my crew of dudes. So if you're going to be there, I hope to see you. Oh, hit the wrong button. Oh. Look at that big sleepy dog. Sorry, I'm showing an adorable doggy. Mike Watkins said, how's it going? It's going very well, Mike. How about you? I feel like I haven't heard from you in a hot minute. I hope you're doing really well. Good to hear from you, Mike. Michelle says, the best thing about growing up in New Jersey was the predominance of the term chode. Oh, we also had quite a high usage of the term chode in my high school, at least. Oh my. And then Nikki says, we'll be there around 6 o'clock. Well, I look forward to seeing you at B&G's. Now back to Henwolf. She's so sleepy. And you can kind of see the puddle she spilled right by my bare feet, which I can't show for free. But look at that big dog. She's really good at sleeping absolutely and completely peacefully right next to wherever I am and whatever I'm doing. Puppy. Anyway. So that's my big old Wolfie. Mike, I'm happy to hear you're doing well. He said, yeah, it's been a bit. I am also doing well. Well, I'm glad to hear it. I just recently started streaming a little bit more consistently since I built this space in my it still is my photo studio, but I turned it into a streaming studio and it can also be my photo studio. So I'm getting a little bit more use out of the space. I felt guilty. I realized this room was just kind of sitting here, not being used that often. And it was just a mess because I had backdrops leaning everywhere, lighting gear leaning everywhere. And I was like, I could organize this space, make like a cool desk space to stream from and chat with people. And honestly, it's pretty nice. Like I already own all the lighting gear and stuff like that. So I made myself a nice little studio and I love streaming from it because I was showing people yesterday, but I'll show you guys right now. This is how easy it is to get a stream going. First I go, hold on, I'm going to. Okay, so I've shut the lights off in here. So now you can see how dark it is. So all I have to do to start a stream is turn 2 cameras on, turn my sound mixing board on, and then I just have to say the magic words, which are Alexa, studio on. And boom! It's an instant live stream. Just add water, baby. Oh gosh, I am so sorry, Michelle. I forgot you're in the chat and I didn't play air horn for you. Just for you, Chell. Just for you. Let's see. Mike Watkins says, does your sound mixer turn your lights off? Is that what happened? No. I cheated because I wanted to surprise everybody with how the lights get turned off. So what I did was I covered my mouth and I muted my microphone so you couldn't hear me tell it to turn the lights off first. So what I did was I went, Alexa, studio off, but I hit it because I wanted to surprise you by the fact that I would go, Alexa, studio on. And it wouldn't work. Alexa, studio on. She makes me a liar. Mike said, oh, you sneaky magician. I can't help it, man. I do enjoy sneaking around a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, and this mixing board is ridiculous. It just has so many options, too many options, honestly. I get obsessed with doing all the things it could do, like
I can pitch up my voice, which is just not okay. Like, it's awkward to hear my voice sound like this, but I kind of like it.
Okay, I'm gonna stop doing that. But I could also
sound like this, just be like somebody in witness protection.
Anyway. I could play with this forever. So, and of course I have things like I can flagellate myself. Thank you. Thank you as well. Thank you. Thank you. Please, 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 please. That's enough. Thank you. Thank you all so much. So, 36 years old. This is what I do with my time and money. Mike Watkins said, helium simulator. You're right. I can just...
Oh, man. Oh, it hurts your lungs more than you realize. Ah! But I wonder what happens when I try to talk deeply. I try to do a deep voice. Does it sound more like... I don't know. This is weird. I'm going to stop now.
All right. It just makes me want to do like that Ice Cube song.
Take your ass to church.
Anyway. I should have never got the Rodecaster Pro 2, but I had to because I wanted it and because I wanted to do some more podcasts than what I already do, because Weekly Spooky is a show that doesn't require a live performance setup for the most part. So I started doing a podcast with my buddy David, and it's called Welcome to Prime Time, Freddy's Nightmares podcast. And it's a podcast where Dave and I watch every episode of the Freddy's Nightmares TV series with Freddy Krueger. And because I work really long hours and already have several other podcasts, the way that I was able to justify the time we spend making that show was to get this system so that Dave and I could sit down in a room, do the entire show from beginning to end, all at once recorded, and then that's it. No editing, no nothing. But that's also why I have sound effects like Freddy Krueger saying bitch.
Bitch. Bitch.
Because, it's necessary when you're doing a podcast about Freddy Krueger to be able to, just go
bitch. Bitch. Bitch.
So yeah, I've got some, horror movie stuff. Also this one. And then of course the most important one I have, which is okay, you can pretend you don't recognize where that's from. That's what everybody does. They're like, I've never heard that before. Joe said, I need to finish Freddy's Nightmares. Also need to watch that Friday the 13th show. I remember it being nonsense. Well, that depends on how you look at it. The Friday the 13th show, and I saw David Denoyer was in there, by the way. He said podcast brag with a cool guy smiley face. But it's worth mentioning. The Friday the 13th series was actually pretty good, pretty well made, pretty well written, pretty well directed. It's just that they made it without any even vague influence from the Friday the 13th films or Jason Voorhees whatsoever, as to where, at the very least, Freddy's Nightmares is a silly, kind of whacked out Twilight Zone that features Freddy Krueger somewhat regularly, and occasionally Freddy is the main character on the show, but not always. So, Freddy's Nightmares, really silly, cheesy fun. Friday the 13th, the series, is more cheesy fun, but it's a little bit of a better anthology show in a lot of ways because they took the subject matter really seriously, but it's like the most shameless cash grab of an IP there is. They just used the title and that's it. And it's made by the same company. It was made by Paramount, so it was by the same company that owned Friday the 13th and Jason Voorhees. But they were like, you know what would make this great if it was Friday the 13th, the series, and had nothing to do with Friday the 13th, the movies. So, let's see. Oh, goodness. Mike Watkins said, you're probably the best person to ask. I really enjoyed From Beyond and Videodrome. Got any similar movies that you can recommend? Oh. Well, if David is still in the chat, I'll defer to him as well. He should offer up some suggestions. But if you enjoyed From Beyond and Videodrome, the first film that comes to mind immediately is a little movie called Society. Have you ever seen Society, Mike? If you have, then I'll have to think a little harder. But Society is a phenomenal, weird movie with some unbelievable body horror in it. That's a film you need to watch. Oh, goodness. Okay, Mike has seen that. He said, yeah, I like the ending to it. Well, I mean, Society, that ending is just wow. He said also Dagon was good. I like Dagon as well. I need to revisit it now that it's on Blu-ray. I haven't rewatched it. So let me think. I'm trying to think of other movies that are as body horror strange as that. Joe said Jason wouldn't make a great host, but you could put him in Lynch's Red Room or something. Just let him stare at the camera in between segments. Okay, David said Reanimator, Society, Dagon, Castle Freak, and Crash. Geez, Dave, you named almost everything that he eventually named. Way to suck, Dave. Oh yeah, well you're not in the chat with him because Mike Watkins, he's over on YouTube and you're over on Facebook, so I'm connecting. Oh, here's a good one. Titan, Tokyo Gore Police. Yeah, those are good. Have you seen, oh gosh, what is that? Tetsuo the Iron Man? Have you seen Tetsuo the Iron Man, Mike? Because that would be one. That one's way far out and really cool, really fun. It's like full on Japanese cyberpunk 1990s style, or maybe even 80s style. Super fun. Oh yeah, Rubber's Lover. David mentioned Rubber's Lover. That's a really good one too. Whoa, Rubber's Lover is twisted. Highly recommend that. Mike said, I have not seen that one. Well, I think it's time. You've got some homework, young man. If you're referring to the one you haven't seen as Tetsuo the Iron Man, that is on Shudder. So if you're a Shudder subscriber, definitely go over there and give that a watch on there. Oh, nice. I've got two now, Tetsuo and Rubber's Lover. I'm not sure where exactly you would locate a copy of Rubber's Lover. When I first watched Rubber's Lover, it was my buddy Andy who had a bootleg tape of it because it hadn't been released in America yet. So I don't know. I'm sure it's probably been released in a mainstream way by now, I would assume. But let's find out. Let's find out together. Does the old Amazon have Rubber's Lover? Yeah, well, a DVD. It's not streaming on Amazon, so that, I mean, there you go on that. We'll see if Roku has anything. Roku. I don't know if that's streaming anywhere. Strange. Ooh, we got some more suggestions. Joe in the chat over at YouTube said The Void 2016 might scratch the itch. Also, literally anything else that Cronenberg has done, Crimes of the Future was really excellent in my opinion. Those are good suggestions. David Noyer also said Virus and Viral. Those are good. Those are good options. But see, I want to find out if Rubber's Lover is available to stream anywhere. I feel like if it isn't, that makes it even more exciting that you'd have to go hunt it down like your ancestors did when they would chase the woolly mammoth, kill it, skin it, and then inside of its skin there would be a copy of Cannibal Holocaust. That's how I understand the past worked anyway. Nope, Rubber's Lover is not streaming anywhere that I can find. Mike Watkins said, seen The Void and I liked it, though it was really long. I think that's a fair one. Mike Watkins said, likely I can find it in some way. I'm sure it's out there, for sure. Mike Watkins also said, I liked Scanners from Cronenberg, but he is hit or miss with me, like I didn't care much for Crash. Fair. Well, if you like Scanners, you should go after what I really like, which is all of the Scanners sequels. Scanners 2, Scanners 3, Scanner Cop, and Scanner Cop 2 The Showdown, baby. I said, haven't seen Virus. I'll check that one out. You should. You'll enjoy it. And then David Denoyer suggested Habit. That one I have not seen. Oh, yeah. let's see. Let's see. Okay, so Mike Watkins said, I mixed up The Void with Enter the Void. Yeah, that's a long movie. And they said The Void was cool. Remember that one? Nice. Joe said Contracted is also a really, really gross body horror, basically a horror movie about an STD. So there's that. If you haven't seen, I imagine, Mike, that you've seen Contracted, because that was a huge hit on Netflix when it first came out. Very much an indie darling that turned into a big Netflix thing. So if you haven't seen Contracted, well, then you definitely have homework. But I just have a suspicion you've probably seen that one, and rightfully so, because it's a good one. Oh no. David Denoyer says, I'm on my way to you with a devil face. I guess I'll have to let Dave in when he gets here. Yeah, I gotta hard out of here at 5 o'clock because I'm meeting some friends. We're going to go out to the cigar lounge, and then we're gonna come back to my humble abode, and we're gonna watch some movies. I believe that the last 2 weeks of movie nights at my home at Casa de Eni have been phenomenal. We did Night of the Running Man combined with Mannequin 2 on the Move. Phenomenal decision. The following week, we did Hollow Man, followed by Weekend at Bernie's 2, which was a phenomenal decision. Phenomenal decision. And then the final the final set is tonight, where we're watching Dick Tracy, and then I'm not sure what the next movie is actually. I've been choosing these, but this time around I let Dave decide. So David, what was the second movie? It wasn't Short Circuit 2, was it? I hope it was Short Circuit 2, but it might not have been Short Circuit 2. Dan York asked, are you going to be at Horror Hound? No, sir, I will not be at Horror Hound this coming show. I'm not sure if and when I'll return to Horror Hound, to be honest. So yeah, not sure. Oh, it is Short Circuit 2. Ha ha! Ha ha! Hold on. Yeah! Oh, not that one. Not that one. I hit all the wrong buttons. Stop with the crickets. Yeah. Okay, so tonight's movie night, very exciting. Very exciting. It is going to be Dick Tracy, followed by Short Circuit 2. Life is good. So, but sorry, Dan, to get back to your point. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't see myself going back to Horror Hound anytime soon. The last few times I've went, I just wasn't thrilled with the way I was treated. Not as a person, but just like I've never bought a table at Horror Hound. I've always obtained a table by doing favors for the event. And it just became clear that they don't really, want me there, it felt like. The last show that I attended of theirs, I was hosting the Horror Host Hall of Fame, and my payment for hosting a live event for them was a table. And they put my table behind a dividing wall. So literally from where I would be sitting at my table to sell merchandise, all I could see was a wall. So I went to the people and I said, is there any way you guys can move me anywhere other than here? They said no. I said, are you sure? They said yes. So I took my stuff and I went home, because what's the point? And then later I was told, you should have stuck around, we could have worked something out. It's I don't want to have to, I was promised a table that would give me access to some amount of people. I don't want to politic for an hour and a half before I have to go sweat my butt off filling my table with merchandise and then spend the whole weekend hustling to make money. I don't want that. And if I'm gonna stare at a dividing wall, and not just me, but a bunch of other poor vendors that I felt terrible for because they're all also going to be staring at a wall all weekend, because this was not a dividing wall that could be moved. It was a dividing wall as part of a loading dock. Honestly, it was bizarre why they would put anybody there. My only guess would be that they had more table commitments than they could fulfill, at least initially. And that's not to say anything bad about the folks at Horror Hound. They've always been very nice to me, but I couldn't get a hold of the people I needed to get a hold of to get a better table. And the people who are in charge of where the tables go said they couldn't help me. So I just went home, and I don't know if I'll come back. I mean, in October, or whenever it is, in September, when the next one is, if they ask me to host the Horror Host Hall of Fame, I will gladly do it again, because the HHF is run by my good buddy Matt, and I would do any favor for Matt in the world. But I don't know that I'll ever go to Horror Hound as a vendor again. We'll see. You never know. I didn't mean to make it a whole rant, but you would think that Horror Hound would have more of a desire to have some kind of working relationship with me. They're based in Cincinnati. I'm based in Dayton. I make movies. They cover movies, but really they've just never really given that much of a crap. And that's fair. I mean, they're a big show with big guests. They bring in big money. I can't fault them for doing a good job at what they do. And they do a good job at what they do. Dan York said, "I'm sorry, brother. I didn't realize you weren't treated well. You were a pleasure to meet. I bought The Haunting Inside." Well, thank you so much, Dan. I remember meeting you, Dan. Thank you so much. I wish I could do more events like that. Absolutely. Dan said, "I'm honestly one who appreciates rants." Dan, if you like rants, the best place for you to go is, and this is not meant to be a shameless plug, but it is a shameless plug, is my Patreon, because every month I do a podcast called The Working Filmmaker on that Patreon. It's at patreon.com/handsome, or incredibly handsome. Patreon.com/incredibly handsome. Every month I do a podcast called Working Filmmaker, where I just talk completely candidly about the filmmaking business, because I'm behind a paywall, so I can kind of say whatever I want. And mostly the show is just who's an a-hole and who isn't. That's most of what I do on that show. So, but no, it was lovely to meet you, and I wouldn't mind doing Horror Hound again, but every time I've had a table there, I've had to beg to find out where it is, and then beg to have it moved to somewhere where people might actually be. So I just got tired of it. And frankly, physical media sales just aren't what they used to be. I'm better off selling physical media at henflix.com and on Amazon, and just sticking to my business model of all about streaming and live screenings. But I can't lie, I like meeting the people who like the movies a lot. That all being said, I will be at Cinema Wasteland March 31st, April 1st, and April 2nd in Cleveland, Ohio. And I'm really excited to be there hanging out with friends and selling movies. David just said in the chat, "You will be at Wasteland though." Yes, I will. I feel like I should make like a siren alert for when a rant is incoming. Oh, and I do have the censor button, so I could be like, "Those don't know what they're missing. Those goddamn Chinese." So, I'm such a nerd. David commented, "I'll be at Wasteland too." David, we don't want them to not go to Wasteland. We want them to come to Cinema Wasteland. So why would we tell them you're going to be there? I'm so mean to poor David. Dan York said, "And your commentary was one of my favorites. That's not just lip service. The way you explained your vision while watching the movie made me appreciate it more." Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't get a lot of compliments about the director commentaries when I take the time to record them. So I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I really mean that. Yeah, I never listened back to them, obviously, but like I said, again, not to be shameless plug, but there's more of the same over at Patreon, because that's where I do all of my filmmaking insight stuff and and things like that. So definitely check it out if you get a chance at patreon.com/incredibly handsome. Very easy to remember because it's so true. Oh, David said harsh. What, Dave? Are you just now realizing I beat up on you too hard? Is it finally come to your realization? Did it finally all click together? Dan York said, Cleveland is a haul for me. I'm in Blanchester between Cincinnati, Dayton, and Columbus. No, I totally understand. Cleveland is a haul for me too. It's about 3 hours just to go there, three and a half. So I totally understand. But that's kind of become my home convention. They've always been very good to me at Cinema Wasteland. David Denner said, no, you're right. A decade of friendship wasn't enough, LOL. Yeah, when you put it that way, we're not friends anymore, Dave. Sorry. I wised up. Dan said, I love commentary tracks, but I'm a nerd, LOL. I mean, you're in the right place. I am a massive, massive nerd. Greg Nichols commented, I grew up outside of Blanchester, Ohio. I didn't know you were from out that way, Greg. Yeah, I'd always just kind of assumed you were just from right around here in Dayton. Oh, okay. So David said, I'll just turn around with Los Lobos then. Hey, I have a Blu-ray copy of Short Circuit 2 as well, so don't dangle that in front of me. And Greg Nichols said, yup, Clarksville, Ohio. Oh, okay. Dan York said, I'm also the one who messaged you, I think, last week. Did you message me last week? I apologize if I didn't recall. I know I talked to a lot of folks. I know we've talked. And now I'm like, wait a second. When was the last time we talked? Let's see. Huh. Yeah, it doesn't show any messages on Facebook, or did we talk on here, or? Andrew Griffiths said, go Buckeyes. They are delicious. I enjoy a good Buckeye myself. Oh, Dan, you said, I think I texted you too. Oh, no, I remember texting. Yeah. No, absolutely. Okay, no, now I remember. Okay, I got you. David Neuer said, yay, sports ball. The best of all ball is sports ball. I like the team that wears the yellow costumes. Andrew Griffith says, as long as you don't like Michigan. I mean, I like the state of Michigan. I like to go there in the winter because it's extra wintry. And the whole state, well, the whole part, all of northern Michigan is like on sale in the winter. You can rent a very nice cabin on a lake, and people will be like, well, it's so cold up there. And it's like, yeah, but it's also heated. So I love it up there in the winter. Andrew Griffith said, bum Santa is bumming. I don't know what that means. Oh, Dan, yeah. So you were asking about acting, right? Yeah, I remember, Dan. No, we texted. Yeah, I do remember that. I mean, we don't have anything right this second, but please understand that keeping in touch is the best way to get involved with the productions. Straight up, absolute best way to stay in the excuse me, in the loop. Facebook is where I always post what I'm up to. So if you're subscribed on Facebook, you'll always know what I'm doing, and never hesitate to drop me a line and be like, hey, I heard you're working on blank. Is there anywhere I could be involved? I will never be mad at someone for looking for work, or looking to get their way into the show business, because it is hard to break in. So you got to try. David Denoyer said, hen's secretly a Wendigo. Not a lot of people know this. Oh, you shouldn't have done that.
Why would you tell people about the truth? Why would you tell them who I really am, David?
Anyway.
No one will believe you.
So, and Wolf's like, what are you yelling? Keith Tomlin said, I would love to stay in a cabin as long as I don't have to leave my house. Well, I guess you could build a cabin like in the bathroom or something. That could work. David Denoyer said, that sounded like my belches.
What's that supposed to be? No, this might be better for a monster voice, really.
Anyway. Hi, Hen Wolf. You look sleepy. Dan York said, dude, I totally get it, and I totally appreciate the open invitation. I have a few daughters I can lend too, LOL. Thanks, brother. God bless. No, it's my pleasure. And seriously, never hesitate to drop a line. The big challenge with my gig is that I have so much going on, just with everything. And I manage, at my production company, I'm the only employee. I have freelancers, but I'm the only person who shows up every single day. So I'm not kidding when I say, if you want a gig, you got to just prod me every now and then. In fact, Ray Mattis, who is now like the composer of almost every movie I do, the way I met him was he just emailed me like every 3 months and said, hey, do you have anything? Hey, do you have anything? And for a year and a half, I didn't. But then one day he emailed me and said, hey, do you have anything? And I went, actually, I do. And now we're good friends, and he does music for a ton of my movies. David Neuer said, halfway there, you need a Red Bull. Nah, I'm good. I don't want any caffeine in me. I've been high key enough with just drinking water and diet caffeine-free soda. Keith Tomlin said, you have a horrible boss. Correct. Lindsay Dave said, Terrifier. Fair enough. David Donayer said, oh, you like freelancers? I recall you not being a fan of it. I have nothing against the masterpiece of 50 Cent's Freelancers. Dan York said, even if you need some help behind the camera, I'd love to learn whatever I can. Well, sincerely, yeah, just keep an eye out. If you ever see me posting that we're working on something, ask if there's somewhere you fit. You never know when you might fit. Absolutely. And again, like I said, not meant to be a shameless plug, but I really would recommend maybe looking into the Patreon, because on the Patreon, I'm constantly talking about things I can't talk about publicly when it comes to making movies. So there's a lot of information about how to get started, how to work in that space, what I'm working on, et cetera, et cetera. So if you are wondering about more of the nuts and bolts of filmmaking, I would highly recommend going to patreon.com/incrediblyhandsome and signing up. You'll get all kinds of bonus content, free movie streams, lots and lots of things, but you'll also get a lot of very direct information about the filmmaking methodology, the business, everything. And honestly, the reason I do the Working Filmmaker podcast on Patreon and not like my other podcasts where they're free is because it's so specialized. I feel like a large group of people won't really care about the nuts and bolts of filmmaking. So I put it somewhere where you pay a little bit, but not a lot. And then you're able to listen to it. David the Neuer said, #freelancers versus retaliators. Those are two films I would hate to see fight if I was in the same bar. Dan York said, LOL, I will look into the Patreon. I also plan on purchasing more of your movies. That's what's up. Oh, again, not trying to sell the Patreon, but it is one of the ways I pay my bills. But if you're a $5 or higher member, you also get a 25% off discount coupon that never expires as long as you're a member for the physical media stuff. So that's there too. And Keith Tomlin said, and NSFW picks. Well, we haven't posted any NSFW picks in the Patreon in a while, but there are still some on there. They're not of me though. They're of models I photographed, but but that's more for, when mommy and daddy have their alone time. Dan York said sweet and then a laughing crying emoji, which is really the only way that you can reply to this kind of thing. It's very fair. Very fair. Oh, Lordy. I'm getting just inundated with Instagram followers today, but it seems like most of them are romance scammers. Dan York said, no judgment here. I'm religious, but no judge, LOL. Fair. I appreciate that. Ooh, this song's got kind of a spooky vibe to it. I like it. Huh. I'm sorry, Mike. I think I missed your chat somewhere. But I see it on the YouTube side. Oh yeah, what the heck? It looks like YouTube stopped going into my multi-stream chat. I apologize. I missed a few of your chats. Let me see. Because I see Mike Watkins said Joe said, these are amazing combinations. I remember my friends and I once chased First Reformed. Wait, what? Oh, you watched First Reformed with Sausage Party. That's a hell of a combination. I live an hour south of Cleveland and an hour north of Columbus. I call it the sweet spot. That's nice. And then Mike Watkins said, oh, nice. I grew up right near Akron. Michigan cold in the winter and Michigan looks like a glove. Coincidence? I think that I would agree. I think not a coincidence. Huh, okay, and Dan York said, if you like that, have you checked out Nox Arcana? You can find them on Spotify. I have not, but I will look into it. I listen to a little bit of lo-fi, but this is mostly about, this is music I can play on my stream without getting copyright struck, which, you know, is always nice. Well, since the chat is acting funny, I will just jump between YouTube and everyone else to make sure you're all good, my friend. Ooh, Nox Arcana has a great dark Christmas album. Well, that sounds like something I would dig. I'm kind of a sucker for anything Christmas. And by kind of, I mean absolutely. Lindsay Dave said, I lance things for free all the time. Cysts, boils, lymphomas, large blackheads. Gross. Mike Watkins asked, what other platforms are you streaming on? I'm streaming on Facebook, which is where most of my interaction seems to come from. I'm streaming on Facebook, streaming on YouTube, and streaming on Twitch. Oh no. David said T-minus 10 minutes till I'm at your door. That leaves me only 8 minutes to get the shotgun booby trap ready. Dan York said it was Halloween music CDs at Halloween Express. They do for Halloween music what Trans-Siberian Orchestra does for Christmas. Nice. Oh, it looks like the YouTube chat is back in here. Because Joe just said, this David Denoyer countdown feels like a horror movie waiting to happen. At least very creepypasta. I think you're onto something. Dan York said, as much as we complain about Facebook, it is the best platform. For most things, Facebook really works well enough. I would agree. And I just have really good interaction on there. I would love to chat and hang out more on YouTube, but there's no benefit to ditching Facebook and only doing YouTube, because all I would do if I was streaming strictly on YouTube is just post the YouTube link on Facebook. So may as well just have it be, you know, fully integrated. Mike Watkins said, there should be a movie like Halloween Before Christmas, but for Halloween. Wait, what? like Nightmare Before Christmas, but for Halloween. Like Santa and stuff come uninvited to Halloween. Okay, I could dig that. That would be fun. Oh no, David. David just asked, it was just like, do you like scary movies? Yeah, I never heard that one, Dave. Mike Watkins says, oh wait, no, that's what I just read. Oh God, David Denoyer said the messages are coming from your driveway. You're not in my driveway, are you? I'm checking my Ring camera right now because I don't trust you. Dan York said, oh, you're not in my driveway. You're not my real dad. Get out of here, Dave. Dan York said, I get it, brother. We all have Facebook complaints. I had to toy with some of my spellings to stay out of jail. LOL. Yeah. The other day, a friend posted as a joke on a Facebook post, about Scream 6, if you spoil this, I'll get you like a fish. And they withheld the comment. David, I'm watching this camera like a hawk. So far, so good. You're not there. So, Lindsay Dave said, I hope Dave is dressed up like the singing nurse from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Well, I didn't want to sleep tonight anyway, so thank you. Thank you so much for that. Yep, that will replace the whale in my nightmares. David said, damn it, Lindsay, there goes the surprise. Sorry, Dave, you just can't get one by us. Mike Watkins said, no, he is in your driveway, like under the ground. See, I'm okay with that. That's where Dave belongs. Under concrete, like Jimmy Hoffa, you know what I'm saying? Sorry, Dave. I only bully you because I don't like you. So, but that's why I'm going to smoke cigars with you and then watch 2 phenomenal movies. Because you're not my friend and I don't like you. And that's how I handle things in life. And I keep bumping this table. Joe just said, Dave is a graboid. Confirmed. Solid. And Dan York said, this is a fun track. I agree. This one's slapping nice. All right. Well, my friends, since unfortunately David will be here anytime now, I am going to bid you all adieu. I'm going to head out. I appreciate you all hanging out with me. I'm going to try to do this every Friday toward the end of the business day, you know, around 4 o'clock Eastern, and occasionally randomly. So if you heard this on Facebook, set me to one of your alerts. So when I post or go live, it'll just automatically let you know immediately. Same goes for YouTube. Click the little bell icon or whatever. And if you're on Twitch, I don't know how you found me in the first place, but thanks, because I'm not really known that well on Twitch. But yeah, I look forward to doing a lot more of these in the future. And, you know, if you enjoyed what we did here, please consider leaving a tip. I have a tip goal right there. Every penny you tip is going towards my dog Chicano's chemotherapy bill, or you can go to helpchicano.com, HELPCHICANO, helpchicano.com. It's the GoFundMe for Chicano's chemotherapy, but I appreciate all of your help. I appreciate all of your time, all of your candor. So until next time, I'm going to get out of here, but I'm going to let this music jam for a second. I'll see you guys soon.